Shalina Harris here with Matthew Harris. He is a senior with the Virginia High School Rodeo team. He is a seven-time national qualifier for the National High School Finals Rodeo. It's a super accomplishment. Matthew, what events have you competed in?
So I've competed in tie down, team roping, and I do both the shooting events, light rifle and trap. And I've been competing in those. Tie down, not as much, so I've only done it a couple years, but since I could, I've been team roping, shooting. So,
What's your favorite event?
team roping for sure. Helen, it's what I'm good at, it's what I've done. It's got a place in my heart.
So you'll be healing out here with Sean,
With
who's
Sean,
your partner.
yes,
That's
yes,
super cool.
yes, man.
What are you looking forward to most
Um,
with your time here?
Out here, it's meeting new people. It's pushing yourself. As the last rodeo, I'm just kind of looking into it and kind of micromanaging what I'm doing in my mind during my run, preparing for when I am in that run. I can just go in, and every little thing I'm doing is going to be where it needs to be.
What are some of the things that you have to do to be able to come out here to compete?
Really, a lot of it is horse conditioning. I kind of slacked on that a little bit this year, but you gotta get your horse ready. You've got to get yourself ready, and there's a lot of you gotta get your equipment ready. You can't come out here and have stuff that's going to break when you're out here. We're really good because we have people around us that are willing to give back and give in a pinch. Saddle, girth snaps. Well, you can go buy a new one, or neighbor will give you one to borrow if it's real quick. And so that's one of the more important aspects, but it's still not the top.
Awesome. What have you been up to for like the past month?
So been trying to gain some knowledge, gain some contacts. I've been riding horses down in Texas, trying to get a feel and try to learn, trying to set myself up for my next step.
All the years that you've been in the Virginia High School Rodeo, what are some of the core beliefs that have helped shape you and get you into where you are
Yeah.
today?
So it high school rodeo really puts a lot of, I wouldn't say stress, but emphasis on building a character, building your ability, not only your ability to work well, but your ability, or not only your ability to stand other people, but your ability to kind of come and become a family. And you're not flying solo. You're not out here like pro rodeo. You're going to be out here. You're traveling to your rodeos. The high school rodeo is nice because you can go and you're there with a team in
Yeah.
a sense. So when you come out here, you've got several people that are working together for the same goal.
Do you have any memories that stand out the most? And it doesn't have to be your high school rodeo.
Yeah,
What are some of the great memories?
The first one that really comes to mind is it was my sophomore year. We went and we qualified for the Junior Patriot, and we went out there. We didn't pull a check. We were close, but didn't quite make it. But it was just a good rodeo, and I don't know exactly what it was. The nerves weren't really up. Everything went well, but it was the atmosphere around it. You know, high school rodeo, it's good, but I've just always been more serious about that and that standing event where you got to go out and you're looking at the next three rodeos or the next three rounds, and that short term was a good break to kind of focus on that run as it is. And like I said earlier, that's what I'm trying to break down to this week.
And who is your partner?
That was my current. I team roped with him in high school rodeo, but that was Luke Krieger was my header out there for that.
Awesome. You all ended up making it through the first round.
Yes, yeah, we made it back to the second round. All we had to do was catch, but it's all right.
Sometimes you catch and sometimes you don't.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
has been the best advice that you've been given?
Best advice. So I think it was Tyson Durfee had it, but somebody relayed it to me. It was give yourself 15 minutes to beat yourself up. Say what you got to say, get it out. Doesn't matter what it is, just get it out. 15 minutes, you got to be ready for that next run. Even if you're not roping in 15 minutes, you still got to, that's it. That's your timeout. Now you got to work on building yourself back up. And like with the high school rodeos doing multiple events, you calf rope, miss your calf. You got to come in, you got to be ready when you're team roping for that next shot.
What are some of the fundamentals of, I know you can't just get on your horse and go do this?
Yeah. So the first building block is you got to have a horse that's willing to, so you can get any horse you want and try to train it. But if it's not a horse that's got that, all right, what do you need me to do mentality, you're not going to have a horse that's going to try. There's plenty of horses out there that'll just say screw you and keep on going whatever they want to do.
Right.
So that's kind of your first step.
I've had some of those.
And then you've just got to go into it, and you've got to come in and be ready to break down and devote the time, because it's not something you can read a book and figure out. You got to.
Is there any one event, any one time, any person, and it'd be hard to name one person because there's been so many, because you've done this for years. But is there somebody that has just stood out as, my goodness, what a mentor? They really believed in me, or and sometimes people have those people who don't believe them, and they do it just cause out of grit and determination of who is going to do it.
Yeah. Well, it'd probably be Philip Back. He started me out in roping, and I may have learned more from other people, but he still gave me that base. He still was the one that was like, yeah, get in there, get in position. Don't let your horse get away with that. Get on and go forward with it. And just the hours in the pen with him.
Yes, absolutely. I think he was going to have you as his roping and riding partner.
Yes.
So this is it. This is your final
high school deal.
So we're wanting to see you. I envision you getting the black cinch shirt that says you are a world champion. But after this, what do you do after this?
I'd like to continue roping. I'm probably not going to go do any college rodeo or any pro circuits, but I'd like to hit jackpots. But I'm going to be going over to Australia, figuring out and just traveling a little bit. Hopefully enter some ropings, do some cowboying over there. Then I'd like to come back, probably go down to Texas and work out there, Texas, New Mexico, Colorado, somewhere down there, and do some cowboy.
What do you think kids who have never experienced the nationals and then the kids who have experienced nationals, what's the difference in those kids?
So, really, it's very polarizing. You can either leave nationals feeling more confident or being really insecure. It's really about the mindset you have coming out of it. Because I know for me, even though my first year I came out here, I didn't compete good at all. I still had that confidence boost that I had done something. It's kind of building your comfort zone, So this year, I'm a lot less nervous than that first year. And I wouldn't say being cocky, because I'm not going to put any pressure technically on what I'm going to do. I'm not going to come out and announce that I'm going to come and win the world title. But it's just the mentality. It's like, okay, you've been here before. You know what you did last time. You know what you're not going to do this time that you did last time. And that's really the big thing is somebody that's been out here 3 times, they've made the mistakes. They weren't perfect all 3 times.
Right. Do you have any advice that you would strongly recommend somebody not ever do?
Not ever do. Big thing is don't try to rush it. Don't get in there and try to block things out to help with your stress or with your pressure you've put on yourself. Don't go in there trying to ignore things. And something else, I can't remember his first name, is Jackie Crawford's husband. He did a clinic out here one year, and his thing was, when you're practicing, that's when you want to put the pressure on. You want to put the pressure on when you're in the roping pen. Just instead of screwing around with friends, just get serious. Kind of make fun little bets that you're going to want to build up to. Put yourself in the mind and do like you did when you were a little kid, when you were roping the dummy with your buddy, saying this is the 10th round of the NFR. You got to rope a 3. And do the same, similar stuff. Find your goal that you want to do and envision you doing it while you're in the pen. And that'll build up to envisioning doing it while you're riding in the truck out there. So that's probably it. Envision the run. Get the pressure on yourself before you're out here. Because it doesn't matter. You might be able to fight it the first round. You might be able to fight the pressure the second round. But that short round, you're not going to be able to fight the pressure. So, for me, after that first catch is when the pressure is the highest. After we get that first time, that's when I'm like, okay, now next 2 rounds have got to go well. So really put the pressure on early. That way you're kind of accustomed to it. And you can control how quickly that pressure builds to where it's more of a flat rush.
So you've done a lot of Trey Johnson's leadership calls for several years, and I believe that a good, strong mindset has come from those calls. Is there anything that stands out that he has said to you over the years that just...
Something that keeps popping up in them over and over again is a good leader is going to want to see the other people around them succeed. They're going to be willing to give first, receive second. They're not going to say, well, what can you do for me for this? And that might not really apply when you're in the arena, but at the same time it does, because I know me, when I'm thinking, well, hopefully this person does this, and I'm guilty of it. Anybody that says they're not's lying. But, well, if this person runs an 11, I'll be able to run in there and easily win it. But then you get in that closed-minded, focusing on a downfall and focusing inward, that you end up screwing yourself over. So you've got to focus on watching this person and being able, and it's not something that comes naturally. You got to be able to hype this person up, because that energy does come over onto you. It's not really a karma thing, but at the same time, that's where it comes from, I reckon.
Awesome. Is this something you see if you were to ever get married or have kids or have a family? Is this a lifestyle you want to bring them up in?
Yeah, I mean, it's been good to me. It's all I've known for the past 15 years. So, I mean, it's part of me. I won't be able to get rid of it, won't be able to deny it. But I could definitely see that and see how it goes, see where I want to go, see where I am in life when all that happens.
What are some of the characteristics you get from rodeo?
The biggest one is just not quitting. I mean, I kind of look around and see these other sports people are quitting every day and they're dropping out. They're like, no, I tried and I just couldn't do it. Well, with rodeo, you got so much collateral. If you quit, you've got $30,000-$40,000 at least that you'll lose even if you do sell everything. So you've got to go at it, and you got to get trapped in it, and then you fall in love with it.
This is true. It's like being addicted to a drug, I guess.
Yeah.
So you, obviously you come from a large family, and I just know that. So to be able to compete, we all had to pull together as a team.
Yep.
And some had to not get, and some got. What are some of the sacrifices that you think you all have made for one another?
Oh, yeah. So you got to be willing to show up to the rodeo and not compete. You got to be willing to be there as a horse holder, brush the horse off, and watch. And that falls into cheering on, but it's a lot easier when you're cheering on your family. But you got to be willing to be the backup and be in the background and then take your turn in the spotlight.
Okay, so you have your own leather business. What made you start that leather business?
It was entry fees. You got to pay for it somehow. I mean, so I went over to a buddy, White Childress, and he was doing leather, and we just kind of messed around one evening doing it. And I was like, man, I really like this. I'm not sweating all day while I'm doing it, and I never really been into art or artistic stuff, and I just kind of fell into it, and that's been the biggest slowdown in it, is I never focused on art, and then all of a sudden I was like, man, I want to draw a flower that sits good beside another flower. But yeah, entry fees, and it's just something I enjoy doing.
So you had when you started this, and was it 2 years ago that you started doing the Klondike leather, moving into the...
3 years.
3.
2 years.
What is your goal with that?
So I'm kind of right now looking, hopefully it's going to split for a little bit, I feel, but hopefully I'll stick with it and I'll be able to continue growing my skills, continue to learn, and kind of just throughout my 20s really learn and put myself back together in the adult world. But and then I'd like to come back with it, and eventually my golden years, maybe teach it and start a school or something through that.
That's pretty awesome. All right. Do you have any advice, anything you want to say? I just want to tell you good luck.
Thanks.
I believe that you could be a world champion.
Thank you. Advice, just be willing to take the time. I mean, you've got to take it with a grain of salt. You got to be willing to be like, hey, I got to take my time, but at the same time, if I'm messing up at the same time 3 rodeos in a row, what the heck's going on?
Well, we are very proud of you to be your parents and the young man that you are, and looking out for your siblings and just passing your skills on to them. I watch you on the daily, just, working with Elizabeth. You are leaving the light rifle champion, and I know Jacob handed that title down.
Yes,
I don't know if you call it handed it or told you that you had to keep it, however you all worked that out. But I heard you the other day telling Emily, look, Emily was going to practice, and I can't remember exactly what you were telling her, but you said,
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
if you got to go practice.
Yeah.
The title has to be, we have to keep the title in the
Yes,
family.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So just thank you for encouraging them that way.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Thank you.